Hey guys, welcome to Essential Image and to the fourth episode in the Well-Groomed Gentleman from Head to Toe. This week we've talked about your hair, your mouth, your body, and today the last episode is about your feet. That's right, your feet. Gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but some of you have feet that stink. That's right. If you have that problem, and it is a problem, you know it, but more importantly, other people know it. Couple of stories. I've done a lot of traveling around the country the last 8 years, and one of the things that I've noticed on airplanes is people like to take their shoes off. Number one, I think it's a really rude thing to do, but I'm not a fan of feet, but mostly because most people have, or a lot of people really have feet that frankly don't smell fresh. And so you're in an enclosed environment already, in an airplane with that crummy air. Somebody takes their shoes off and oh my goodness. And then of course usually they top it off with some sort of an aromatic meal that has onions or garlic or something like that in it. Without fail, it's Murphy's rule when you fly, it just happens. Now, stinky feet are a problem usually for teenagers, but unfortunately for a lot of grown-ups. And there are many reasons why your feet might stink. And I think it comes really down to three main things that make your feet stink. Number one, obviously, it's cleanliness. Number two is how you wash them. And number three, your toenails. In fact, this week when I talked about being well-groomed from head to toe, I really didn't talk about our nails. So this is a great opportunity to do that. So whether it's your fingernails or your toenails, I highly encourage you to make sure that those are clipped and clean all the time. Something incredibly unsightly. I spent a lot of time in this world of sales, and you have somebody that comes selling to you, or you go to sell somebody, or you have an employee do that, and their hands or nails look terrible. Again, not a good thing because you're showing somebody something on paper and they can see your nails. And by the way, by clipped, I don't mean biting them off, guys. I mean actually getting them manicured. Now, you don't have to go to a shop to do that. You can do that on your own, but do not be biting your nails off. That's even uglier than a dirty nail, frankly. But same thing with your feet, your toenails, and a lot of guys tend to neglect their toenails. You've got to keep those clipped and clean because most people wear socks. Your nails, if you have them long, they will collect lint and stuff, and eventually that contributes to having stinky feet. So today, a few tips on keeping those feet nice and clean and smelling fresh all the time. Number one, that I already gave it to you, keep those toenails nicely clipped and clean all the time. Number two, when you wash them in the shower, by now you've seen the common thread on these videos about washing your body and your feet really well, but rinsing them really well. Again, our friend the bath poof, the exfoliating bath poof, when you go to take a shower, simply lathering your body and letting that soap run down to your feet and then thinking, hey, they're clean, that doesn't work. You actually have to lather this thing up really well, load it up with soap, go to your feet, and you have to go to work. You have to scrub your feet really well, top, bottom, in between your toes. You've got to get in there and do that to both feet. Take your time. It's kind of like washing your hair. You can't do it in a few seconds. It will take you a good minute or two to do your feet. You've got to scrub them really well. Here's the other cool thing about this is that this acts an exfoliator and it will make your feet a little smoother. Again, I will tell you that having smooth feet, smooth skin, clean, being well-groomed does not in any way diminish your manhood or your masculinity. You're still a man. You're just a clean man. And I'll tell you who appreciates that. It's your wife or your girlfriend-to-be or your wife-to-be. They really appreciate that, especially because you're not kicking them in bed in the middle of the night with your overgrown, nasty feet and nails, right? Keep those clean. So again, take your time to wash those feet super well, get them really clean. And then, of course, you have to rinse them off. That's the common theme. You have to rinse them off. Get all that soap off your feet. But simply running your feet under clean water is not going to do that. I actually take it a step further, and I use what I call my Michael Jackson glove. I put this on in the shower. I usually sing Michael Jackson. It really annoys my wife. It's great. But you can buy a whole year's supply of these, meaning you replace them every 3 months for about $15. But as I'm rinsing my feet, I put this on. It's also an exfoliating glove. It's called just a wash glove. But I put this on, and again, I go to work on my feet to get the rest of that soap off of them. Get them off, get them real clean between your toes. You've got to get in there. And again, this will also make your feet a little bit softer. A very cool thing to have. So once you get out of the shower, obviously you have to dry your feet. None of this air drying. You actually have to dry them really well with a towel. It's kind of the final step, getting them really dry between your toes. And again, I go one step further and I take the hair dryer to my feet between my toes so that they're really, truly dry before socks ever get on my feet. Now, speaking of socks, wear them. That's a great thing to do. Wear socks as much as possible, whether you are wearing shoes or not. Because what happens is if you're walking around your house, you collect dirt on the soles of your feet, and then you go and put your dirty feet in your shoes, and you've already You've already negated the benefit of your shower. Your feet are already dirty, so don't do that. Wear socks as much as possible. And when it comes to your shoes, I'm a big believer in keeping your shoes nicely maintained, both on the outside but also on the inside. So, for example, one of my rules is I never wear my shoes 2 days in a row, unless I really have to, or maybe if it's tennis shoes for workout, that kind of stuff you can't help. But dress shoes, for example, I never wear them 2 days in a row. More than that, one of the ways I take care of them, every once in a while, because I have several pair, dust can get in them, whatever. Every so often I just take a nice moist cloth and I go inside my shoe and clean it, just wipe it out. And then I shine them, I condition my shoes. That's a whole other episode that I'll have to do on shoe care. But in terms of the inside, I do wipe them out every so often because lint gets there from your socks and whatever. You have to wipe that stuff out. And then, of course, when you get home at night and you take your shoes off, I let them rest for a few minutes. In other words, I let them dry out for a little while. Take them off, let them dry out. And then I insert a shoe tree. Invest in these. You can get them at any quality shoe store. Nordstrom Rack has a lot of these. Dillard's. This happens to be a Dillard's shoe tree. This is a cedar shoe tree. Don't get the plastic stuff. The cedar is great for several reasons. Number one, they are shaped better. They are shaped like your shoe. And I insert them whenever my shoes are not being worn. Every pair of my shoes has one of these in them. What they do is they not only keep the shape of your shoe. For example, this is not a new pair of shoes. I've had these for a couple of years, I think. You can tell by the soles that I've worn them. But I keep them maintained so that they keep their shape. But number two, they tend to draw a little moisture out of your feet. And the cedar smell gives them that fresh smell that when it combines with the leather on your shoes, is still a very fresh smell. So those are the few things that will help your feet be really clean, be really fresh, so that anytime you take your shoes off, if you are one of those people who does take them off on the plane, you will not be offending people. If you're somebody who's sitting around somebody else, they won't smell your feet. Because I have to tell you, if you don't think people smell your feet, you're wrong. They do. I don't care if you have shoes on or not shoes on. The foot smell is one of those disgusting things that everybody knows where it's coming from. I don't want to ruin your movie-going experience, but I always equate the smell of stinky feet to popcorn at the movie theater. Am I right? I know you know what I'm talking about. So keep those feet clean. Again, keep yourself nicely groomed from head to toe. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, I will link them in the description below. Watch them, share them with your friends. And I want to thank you for watching them. I've gotten some great comments on them. If you want to see more stuff like this, please subscribe to my channel, send me some comments, send me questions, and share them with everybody you know. Hey, until the next series, thank you so much. We'll see you later.